Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
On today's show, we return to Willowbank Raceway west of Brisbane for our continued coverage of the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals as part of the final round of this season's 400 Thunder. This week it's all things pro-alcohol as Gary Phillips chases his 20th national title. Then we head over to Europe and to the Principality of Monaco, where the high life and high stakes collide with high horsepower, with round 9 of the 2018-19 FIA Formula E Championship, the Monaco E-Prix. This is Speedweek.
Welcome to Willowbank Raceway at Ipswich in Queensland. We're at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. This is the final round of the championship for all the categories. And on today's show, we're looking at All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol. The funny cars, the Alters, the dragsters, all mixed in together. Rob Ambrosie's coming back after a, frightful incident in Sydney. We've got Gary Phillips up the top of the points table. We've got defending champion Stephen Reed. He's within reach. He's hoping that the cards just fall his way this weekend. But let's have a look here. Gary Phillips. It's a dominant lead on 408 points from Stephen Reed. Rob Ambrosie, well, he's in a position to consolidate that third spot. Wayne Price, Justin Walsh has been performing so well in the Altered. But all of the focus is going to be at the top of the field with Gary Phillips and Steve Reed. And of course, the comeback of Rob Ambrosie. Oh, huge explosion for Ambrosie. Fire inside the car. Brett White not without his own troubles. There is Monique Ambrosie and the team. They could see the flame from the start line. Car has pulled up down on the braking area.
Oh, look, the whole crew and myself worked. I can't even tell you how many hours we did. We worked every day of the week just to make this meeting, right up until the Monday before it. We had a lot of help from Moyts, Glenn Davies and Michael Moyt. My crew. Monique, Steph, Tim, we just worked hours. And I'm tired still now, but look, I'm excited I'm here. We made it. Now we're going to try to qualify. So It was a very hairy moment for me. It was a lot of fire, and I'm just hoping to God that doesn't happen again. But look, it was a malfunction on the camshaft that broke, and you can't do nothing about it. That's life. You know, if you drive these things long enough, something's going to happen. So the only thing that did happen when it actually exploded, two things went through my head. One was, how am I going to fix this for second round? And then when the fire started coming in really, really bad, but the concussion of the actual explosion blew the visor up. So it took my eyebrows and eyelashes off. But the second thing that I worried about was my daughter, because when that fire came in, I couldn't see nothing, and I'm trying to cover my face and try to brake, try to steer, and try to do everything. I'm thinking she is going to be hysterical, and then all of a sudden I just tried to sort of stop, and she was at the finish line there. But look, at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's not that you want it to happen all. That's life.
Let's get into the qualifying action for All Star Batteries Pro Alcohol. The weather gods haven't been kind to us here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. We lost Friday's professional sessions entirely to rain. Now here we are, Saturday, late morning. The forecast is for the chance of more showers this afternoon. That makes this session so critical, Mark.
It does. This is a real pressure cooker situation for these teams. The weather doesn't look crash hot this afternoon, so potentially this could be their only shot in qualifying. They need to make it count.
We've got John Sting and the dragster far side of the track, and on the near lane, Luke Marsden in the Race Products funny car. Both drivers needed a pedal early, Mark.
Yeah, it looks like they might have underestimated the track here. John Sting goes 6.06 pedaling that car, and I think this session of qualifying, you want to get it to the finish line, so we'll see a lot of these cars potentially pedal and they'll get back under power, which we might not normally see in qualifying here. As we look at the Sunoco replay, you see Sting go, you can see the tyre shake there at the rear of the dragster. He gets back on it, rolls it through for a 6-second bust. Luke Marsden had obviously issues in his lane to the left of the screen here. Let's look at Luke, just see what happened to him. He launches strong and tyre shake. You can see that body shaking. I think they've both underestimated this track and probably need to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Sting's going to have to wait and watch.
If we have a look, I don't know if the camera can grab it, there are some small drops on top of John Sting's car. That's probably not the news you guys want to hear. We've got John down here anyway. What a way to kick off pro alcohol qualifying. Big pedal fest though, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were off it for a fair bit. I imagine it wasn't that flash time.
Oh, 6.06, so it's a good, it's a start.
Yep. Might be the only one we get, unfortunately, with this weather. Not that great, is it?
No, it's not. But how are you enjoying the weekend so far down here, the atmosphere? Like everyone's down here having a good time?
Yeah, no, it's great, mate, that's for sure.
Well, a few drops down the braking area. The word have that they appear to have stopped completely, so we're still continuing with this qualifying session of All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol. Wayne Price in the funny car out of Victoria, and the man I referred to earlier, we've got Walsh in this Altered.
We have an oversubscribed field this weekend in Pro Alcohol. I think we had 15 cars here in to qualify. Only 8 cars will face a starter in round 1 of racing tomorrow, so that's why this is such a pressure cooker situation for these guys on track. Wayne Price in that funny car has run a PB of 5.51 in that car. Justin Walsh has reset the Pro Alcohol Ultra record this season, running a 5.66.
Both cars with problems, but Walsh's happened quite late, and he still comes up with a 5.86, 286 kilometres an hour. Wayne Price was off the throttle very early, and his time, well, I don't think that's going to get him close to the field.
Yeah, the Sunoco replay. It was a really good pass from Justin Walsh. There's a bit of a haze. I wonder if a fuel line might have come off or something, like fuel that leaned out and the explosion through the supercharger there. Wayne Price, he got out strong. Ooh, he might have been a little bit too aggressive. You can see it starting to spin and shake there. But Justin Walsh, that was a good pass considering the factors there. 586, well off of it early. Obviously, it's not his choice to be off early, but it's a good run from the team. He goes to the number 1 spot at the moment.
Well, he's going to have a fair bit of work to do because he's got to turn that car around and hopefully get into another qualifying session later on this afternoon. Here's our championship leader, Gary Phillips, in the funny car. Is he destined for yet another Pro Alcohol Championship? Well, he's in the box seat to do that, running with some help from Lumen's Lighting.
You want to know how serious these guys have taken this qualifier right now? They started looking at the weather patterns a month ago for here at Willowbank Raceway. They started designing, preparing what sort of attack they're going to take here for this first session. They've known for the last week, they knew the weather was going to be like this, so their whole tune-up right now, they've been talking about for the last month. And they're going for it. I know for a fact they've actually gotten pretty aggressive with this funny car.
That's why the guy's won 59 Christmas tree trophies in his career. Leaves nothing to chance. It's getting on down there. 540, 421 kilometres an hour. That is absolutely on the money, Rusty.
Absolutely, down here with the birthday boy Shane Phillips, mate. Not a bad way to celebrate at 540 killer run.
Absolutely, that was just awesome. I was just hoping to get A to B on that run because you never know if we're going to get another session in. But Dave and the whole Willowbank team did an awesome job of prepping that track, and I'm just really glad it made it down there. So we'll come back for the next run and see if it can go a little bit quicker. But it wasn't pretty, and he shut it off a little early, so hopefully there's a bit more for Alpine Fresh Refrigerated Transport and Lumen Lighting, Speedflow, and welcome on board this weekend, Man Rocker Arms as an associate sponsor.
Yeah, no, he's a happy man, Gary Phillips. You go on and run 4-0 out of the trailer.
Who said we're not trying? These sponsors, Alpine Fresh, everyone on the back here, Lumen Lighting, Speedflow, Super Crew, Shane's done a magnificent job, Steve, and we even got a Missouri man here, Mike Bell's here. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. Like, the car was getting on down there, and the main thing was to get that first run in. Short shift a little bit, and hey, we're happy. 540, I think they might stay in.
That 540 is a horror movie for the rest of the field because nobody's got any data for the conditions we've got right now. Here is our defending champion, Stephen Reed, in the All-Star Batteries funny car, taking on the comeback kid, Rob Ambrosi, on left of screen. And they've just seen what Gary Phillips has done. They know that they've got to get in the field. This may be their only shot, but they've seen a 540. You can't take it easy, can you, Mark?
Not at all, but the one thing that Gary Phillips' pass does for the rest of the field, they go, well, we know the track's got some bite. It can handle a bit of power if you want to get aggressive. And that's what these funny car guys should be doing right now. Get aggressive. Get yourself into the field here in Q1.
Rob Ambrosi's going there with a 620, 359 kilometres an hour. Stephen Reed's car left the line with the wheels in the air, and then there's a bit of black rubber on the track that I could see.
It looked like maybe the supercharger belt from Stephen Reed's car came off. It has, you can see it there on the Sunoco replay, the defending 400 Thunder Brackwell champion. Well, he is praying that we get another qualifying session in later on.
Well, that was a brand new supercharger belt for Stephen Reed, I know that. Well, Ambrosi's, have they got enough to go into that field? Monique will have her fingers crossed.
It certainly could down here with Monique Ambrosi, Rob's daughter. It wasn't pretty, but it got it down there, and more importantly, probably settled the nerves of both the crew and the driver.
Look, honestly, we've been through hell and back, which is obvious for us, breaking a camshaft last meeting. So, been working our butts off trying to get the car ready. So, thank you so much to Moitz Racing for helping us out, and Glenn Davies, and to my whole crew, family, friends, and fans for helping us just keep passionate about this sport because we love it so much. But look, it didn't get down the track the way we wanted to, around a 620 something, but hopefully we can turn the car around and run better for next round.
Yeah, we definitely do have an excited Rob Ambrosi. Good to get the monkey off the back, mate. Your first run since Sydney.
Look, it's fantastic not to be on fire, and the car went straight down the track. It didn't feel that fast, but I had to pedal it off the start line there. The fires are fogged up, and I couldn't sort of see, and I'm sort of seeing, but you know what, we went down the track, changed every gear, shut it off on its own, blower belts back on it. I'm wrapped. So thanks for everyone for believing us and everyone that was following us. I just want to say thank you to everyone, that's all.
Well, very happy and emotional Rob Ambrosi. Here comes Greg Clayton in the Elite Motor Company Altered, going to be up against another one of the Victorian funny cars in the form of Chris Hargrove, running for CNW Electrical Wholesalers.
Well, Greg Clayton in this Altered has really stepped up his program this season. I know that Justin Walsh has recently reset the record in his Altered, but I think Greg Clayton, potentially this guy can run to the 550s with this Altered. and Chris Hargrove's in the lane beside him as well. These guys have had some issues with their engines and so forth. It's good to see him back here. Let's see how they go here as well.
Both drivers on and off the throttle trying to make it into that field. Hargrove had the shootout way early, runs a 6:03, Clayton a 6:05. We're seeing so many cars in the sixes, it's just going to be a case of where that number 8 falls. But, well, Stephen Reed, he has to absolutely pray for another session.
Yeah, down here with Steve Hargrove, crew chief on the C&W electrical car. Mate, looks like I might have lifted the supercharger down there.
Yeah, we changed a lot of things this weekend. We're doing things a little bit differently, and we wanted to do a half-track pass, but with the weather the way it's going, we just had to send it and hope for the best.
Yeah, look at the Sunoco replay. One of the safety mechanisms we have on these cars is that when a supercharger does blow, like we just seen in Chris Hargrove's car, it automatically deploys the parachutes. That's why you saw the parachutes out early. So look at the side there. You can see the pedal from Hargrove. Wheels up for Greg Clayton. He was having a bit of fun over there in the altered. The supercharger pops, parachutes come out. Both cars are in that 6-0 zone as well.
It was a hell of a drive job from Clayton. He's going to have a lot of adrenaline pumping through him down the bottom end.
Greg Clayton, you just got down the track there, big fireball alongside you with Chris Hargrove, but you got this altered, it's starting to run really nice.
Yeah, we probably didn't have enough in it just then power-wise, so it left all right, but it shook further out, which we were worried about it doing. And anyway, I kind of pedalled it and big wheel stand and got it down there because I don't know if we're going to get the next qualifier in, but glad Chris is all right. I saw him go up in smoke and then we just jumped out, but he's okay, yeah, just engine damage, I think.
We know we'll let your crew get this back to the pits and turn around.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well, the action keeps going in All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol as Wayne Talbot, the Talbot Vegetable Growers Funny Car Team, the Mustang. First appearance here at Willowbank Raceway with Cameron Ambisi beside him. It's another dragster versus funny car pairing.
Yeah, you're probably wondering, how do we keep these cars on a level playing field? Well, basically, the dragsters are a little bit lighter. They have less horsepower on board. The funny cars, a little bit heavier, but they got a little bit more power. So hopefully, at the end of the strike, both cars are side by side.
Well, the rules package seems to be working fairly well at this point in time. That's for sure. Been very competitive. Well, Talbot has a problem staging there. I don't think Talbot will get a time, but what can we get from Ambisi? Oh, 6:53, 304 kilometres an hour. That won't be what that team wanted, Mark.
No, definitely not. Neither team's there. I think what happened with Talbot in the funny car, he's dragged through the beam, so you can see as he starts to build the revs, the clutch actually starts to grab, so it might have been a little bit tight. Pulls him through the beam, so he doesn't get a time recorded. Cameron Ambisi in this drag, so still looking for that first 5-second pass. A 6:53 today. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get him in the field.
Yeah, it's all shaken up in qualifying in Pro Alcohol. You got yourself in the 7th position so far.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What did we run? I don't even know what we run.
I think it was a 46.
Beautiful.
So you're in the 6s. You're not quite in the 5s, but that's all right. You still got a 7. A little bit of oil, though, coming out of the car, so the guys got a bit of work.
Yeah, we've done something wrong there. We'll have to take it back to the pits and have a look and come back out and see how we go.
Hopefully we get Q2.
Well, here is Brett White up from Sydney. Fantastic to see this privateer team. They've been racing the Sydney rounds of Pro Alcohol, but really set their sights on their first away trip, being the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. He is beside John Canooly on the left-hand side of the screen. The JTS funny car. It's the first time we've seen it this season, Mark.
Yeah, it's first time for the team, but John Canooly is actually the national record holder in this car. They've got a brand new body on the funny car. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit better aerodynamically. They're telling me it's good for about 3 to 6 kilometres an hour across the finish line in speed advantage for over his old body. Brett White, though, in this funny car, these guys have been really slowly progressing their program, learning what the funny car needs, and, stepping up little by little, running into that 570 zone here, and we could see what he does right now.
Well, Canooly has run 5.3 in the past. Can he do it here at the Winters? Canooly's out of it, but a 5.98, 402 kilometres an hour. That will put Brett White in the field at this point, that is for sure. I think it'll bump Ambisi back onto the number 8 spot, but not a happy day for Canooly.
Well, I can tell you Brett White will go to number 3 spot at the moment in qualifying. John Canulli, though, with issues. Look at the Sunoco replay. You can see him get off. Looks like he spun the tyres. Might have been too aggressive. And then he also had a supercharger pop as well. You can see the body panel there come up from the body. But Brett White, that was a good pass from the team. They're in the top half of the field at the moment. A good 5.98. Let's hear what he says down the bottom end.
Yeah, quickly, we're going to go Brett White. 5.98 puts you number 3 in the qualifying so far.
My head hurts. It went out there, left really good. We got no tacho. I don't know what's going on. And the shift light, which is a stage light, that didn't work, so I was guessing. And it wanted to make it so bad. And then it just rattled its brains out. So I just pedalled and I probably screwed everything up, and I'll get yelled at when I get back. So, but I think we're in the field at the moment. I'm the only one praying for rain at the moment.
He will be the only one praying for rain as Jake Donnelly comes out. A brand new car for this team. Jake, a lot of experience in supercharged Outlaws and of course in the Outlaw Nitro funny cars, but this is his first outing for DBS Motorsport in Pro Alcohol.
He's still learning the ins and outs of this Pro Alcohol funny car, trying to get into the field.
On and off the throttle a couple of times and then gives it away. So he is going to be another one of those that are just hoping that we get another qualifying session here in All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol this afternoon.
It was his first hit at the track here in the Pro Alcohol funny car class, and he got to taste a bit of tyre shake. So welcome to Pro Alcohol, Jake Donnelly.
Very experienced driver, as I say, for quite a young man, but used that experience there to know when to fold them. The weather gods are continuing to play havoc with the 2019 Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. The rain is falling and the radar shows a massive system moving in this afternoon. There is no more qualifying going to happen in Pro Alcohol. That has some very serious ramifications. Let's have a look on the qualifying board. Gary Phillips is on top. Stephen Reed is not there. That gives Gary Phillips his 20th Pro Alcohol Championship. It is a wrap. Justin Walsh, Brett White, Chris Hargrove will make up the top half of the field. Clayton, Sting, Ambrosi and Ambesi the second half. And we would have expected quicker things from qualifying, but not on a one-shot effort. We're going to have all of the dramatic action from the first round of Pro Alcohol after this break. Welcome back to Willowbank Raceway at Ipswich in Queensland. It is race day for the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. We are in All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol, about to go into round one. Now, the weather is perfect today, but yesterday the rain got in the way. We only had one qualifying session for these pro cars, and there were plenty of guys that missed out. Canuli, Marsden, Price, but most importantly, Steve Reed, the champ, he's out.
Yeah, another one of the hard luck stories from yesterday was Stephen Reed in Pro Alcohol. Unfortunately, you didn't get the car down the track like you would, so a bit of an unfortunate end to the season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we had a very, very slim chance of defending our championship, but it wasn't to be, so we're just here with the car out, promoting All-Star Batteries and AC Delco batteries and here talking to fans.
We're so happy you still got a smile on your face. It's been a great season, though. There's some big highlights here. You've run some good numbers.
Yeah, we had the car running well. I mean, it was fast the last part of the season, so yeah, we were trying our best to take it up to Gary to make him work for his championship. But anyway, next time.
Well, Steve Reed was just one of 5 guys that missed out, but these are the ones that got there. Gary Phillips to take on Cameron Ambesi, Chris Hargrove up against Greg Clayton, Justin Walsh against Rob Ambrosi, and the one I'm looking forward to, Brett White against John Sting. That should be a really good run.
Here we go. Now moving into round one of eliminations. On track first, Greg Clayton in the Altered to take on the C&W Electrical Wholesale Funny Car of Chris Hargrove.
Well, these two met in qualifying. Hargrove had a supercharger explosion around half track, but Greg Clayton That car, the Elite Motor Company car, was just wheel standing at half track. Do they calm it down? Do they get after it even more? It's a hard call, isn't it?
That's the big questions about this round of racing. It is a little bit warmer today than what it was yesterday. The track conditions are a little bit different, so there's a few curveballs for the teams here after only getting one pass in qualifying. But I can tell you right now, Chris Hargrove, these guys have had some serious work to do after they qualify. That big explosion hurt the body. They need to repair the body. They had to swap the engines out. So they've done a lot of work, and so there's a lot of unknowns for the team as well with the new engine combo in the car.
Great crowd in here at Willowbank Raceway, enjoying the sunshine and race day of the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. This is round one of All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol Funny Car versus Altered, Victoria versus Queensland. And that track is sticky, the crew's stepping out of their shoes.
He's not the first, he won't be the last.
Just shows how much traction is available on that start line as these cars build the revs, bump into the full stage. Hargroves we saw with a problem straight away, and I thought this will be a Clayton benefit match, and guess what? He ran into trouble. Hargrove gets back on it, a 6.95. Normally wouldn't even get near a Pro Alcohol win light, but it does it here at the Winternationals.
This race had a lot of chapters in its story. Clayton was way out. He had this race in the bag, and Hargrove with the issues, and he recovers the funny car. Clayton then has issues. He loses power. He can't get back on it. Hargrove gets back onto the power. He gets across the finish line. He goes through to the semi-finals here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals.
A win's a win for Hargrove.
Yeah, we'll grab a quick word with Chris Hargrove. It was a messy run, but after all the work you've done changing engines, you got down the track and a win.
That's it, A to B. That's what we want. Overstepped the track a little bit. She went up in some tyre smoke, so we'll get it back there. We'll have a look at the data and we'll check it out.
Look forward to seeing you in the semis.
Beautiful. Thanks, mate.
Probably more relief than elation for Chris Hargrove there that got down the track. Here's our next pairing. It is the 20-time champion now, Gary Phillips, on left of screen, and Cameron Ambezi from Victoria in the dragster. Well, Greg Clayton congratulating Chris Hargrove there. He knows he had that one in the bag, but it's not over until the win light's on, that is for sure. Here's Gary Phillips backing up. His wife Debbie out front providing the signals.
I was chatting with Shane about Gary's funny car this round of racing. They're taking the smart approach this weekend. They want win lights on the board. They've looked at Cameron and BC. They're like, you know what, we don't need to run a 5.40. We're going to soften it up slightly. But when you start doing that, that's when you start walking the tightrope then, or potential tyre shake and all that sort of thing. So when you do back the cars off, you do have that issue then come into play. Have they backed it off too much? That could be the question here with Gary Phillips. Cameron and BC in the dragster looking for that first 5-second pass. He needs to run something like that here against Gary Phillips if he wants to take the win light.
Yeah, Phillips has the championship wrapped up. He is now racing for another gold Christmas tree trophy, and he does like to collect them, that is for sure. With the championship one, he'll have 60. He could leave this weekend with 61.
Tell you what, both cars have been in pre-stage for a while here. We've got a staging duel here in Pro Alcohol. Phillips is in, and BC's in.
Phillips has overpowered the racetrack, and then BC's way gone. Hang on, here's Phillips again.
0.05 of a second win margin to Gary Phillips, 371 kilometres an hour. He needed all of that speed and more to get past Mbisi, because Mbisi was looking like the upset of the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals here in round one. The Sunoco replay. Cameron Mbisi in this drag, he was out. He was out. The crew were cheering him on. They thought he was home, but Gary Phillips, he needed all of his experience and more. He overpowered the track. They've underestimated this somewhere on the tune-up. Gary Phillips gets a get out of jail free card right there through to the semi-finals.
That was violent enough for the camera to go sideways. Not the first round that Gary Phillips would have planned.
I think you are right, Rob Oberg. That is the slowest when we've seen Gary Phillips win. However, you do have the 2019 Pro Alcohol Championship. Hold it up high. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay! You don't think we wanted this one? Alpine Fresh Refrigerated Transport, Lumen Lighting, all these people here. These are the ones. Thank you so much for everything you do. Shane, Deb, Steve, Mike, Jordan and Kai, hey, it's unreal. 20 championships, 20 alcohol championships, and it's been tough all year. That deal there was, that deal there, the tree malfunction, so we were sitting there, the thing got pretty hot, and anyhow, it was just, I guess we got to win, so we got some work to do.
You're going to the semis. We'll see you next round.
Good on you, mate.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Well done, mate.
What an achievement. I mean, he's won most of those 20 pro alcohol championships with a major sponsor on the side of his car. He considered parking it. In the end, he said, what else are we going to do? So he's come out and raced it just with the support of a number of associate sponsors, and he's got a 20th title. Man, if he gets a big sign on the side of that car next year, look out.
Okay, next pairing up. It was the race that you were looking forward to, Rob. Brett White in the funny car here on board with him and taking on the dragster of John Sting. 12 months ago, this dragster of John Sting was the #1 qualifier here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. Went 5.44 seconds in this dragster. Absolutely stout. He had some issues in qualifying in the dragster, had to pedal it through to the finish line. So Brett White was the #3 qualifier. He's got lane choice. He's taken this lane here on screen. Hi, Mum, from Brett there. Backing up the privateer Brett White taking on John Sting. Sting's his first race this season, the 400 Thunder Championship. Brett White has run a few rounds in this funny car and they've been consistently getting quicker. This is going to be a really good race.
Yeah, John Sting from St George, out way west of Brisbane, and of course Brett White up from Sydney. Now it's great to see John Sting back at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals, as it is to see Brett White contesting his first winters in the funny car. There he is in the office. Look at the concentration on those eyes. And he is focused on that Christmas tree lights.
We know that the dragster John Sting's gets to half track really, really quick. It's one of the quickest leaving cars in the pro alcohol field. So normally you'd see the dragster get out, get a lead on the funny cars, and the top end charge from the funny cars, then come back at the dragsters. That's normally how the race works out, pans out with these sort of battles.
Great angle of the start here at Willowbank Raceway. Packed grandstands and spectator mounds.
Oh, 007 light for John Sting. Brett White, he's over on the wall.
This is not the first round of pro alcohol that we thought we'd be seeing, but a 7:32 is good for the win. Rusty Gregory, this race has got everything.
Mate, I counted at least 7 pedals there from Brett White. That was insane. And I'll tell you, if they put another coat of paint on the car, he would have hit the wall. Down here with Megan White, he's Brett's wife. That's a big shot in the arm for you guys, a round win.
Far out, it's great. Oh, thanks to all that crew, they did a great job. Thanks for all the track crew. It's a good feeling.
Good feeling, pretty emotional down here.
Yeah, definitely. Go Brett.
Go get your hubby.
Let's have a look at the Sunoco replay here of Brett White in this funny car. Rusty said he counted about 7 pedals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look how close he gets to that wall. Usually you buy someone dinner when you get that close to them. It was all Brett White. John Sting in the dragster. He was up in smoke, too aggressive in that dragster. He did get back on it, but in the end, I think he might have even popped the supercharger on it, but it was all Brett White.
Yeah, so it was Gary Phillips and John Sting going up in smoke the same way, but Sting couldn't recover. It's a great win for Brett White. Makes his whole Winternationals trip worthwhile.
Brett, you are going through to the semis here at the Winternationals.
Man, that's just like driving my dragster. It just had the front end up. It smoked and I was told just do whatever it took, and it's on the wall. I thought, you ain't beat me this time, you pile of crap. So then I punched second and pulled the front end up, and then it just kept going and going and going. I thought, I'm not giving up on you. There's no scratches on it, so let's go again.
Good, we'll see you in the semis.
Hey, thanks to all my boys and girls up there. Well done.
Hey, this time Brett's not going to be in trouble with Megan.
No. Oh, that was a great and bottom end interview there with Brett White. We move now into our final pairing of round 1. The comeback king, Robin Ambrosi, to take on Justin Walsh.
Well, for Justin Walsh, we saw that big supercharger explosion in the qualifying pass, and that's a bit of a worry, Mark.
It is always a concern when something happens to the engine that is unexpected in qualifying or racing or whatever it is, because you go back to the pits, have a look at data, like what has caused this explosion? Was there a lean out, or did something happen, something fail inside the engine? So you do go through all that procedure, find out what went wrong, and then hopefully rectify it when you go into the next round of racing and qualifying, whatever it is.
Well, this team, they'll have had a look at everything. The whole engine's back together happily, as you can see. Rob Ambrosi, there's Monique going out to just check the wheelie bar height and lock it off. The wheel there with white chalk on it, they'll have a look and see exactly how long that wheelie bar wheel is on the ground. Gives them some information for their next round, but what they've got to do is try and get to the end of this Willowbank Raceway 400-metre drag strip ahead of Walsh's Altered, and that is going to be a task.
I can tell you also now, Rob, we haven't had a single car get to the finish line in round 1 of racing. No one has got under power.
Big hole shot for Rob Ambrosi. No! He's onto the centre line. That is a disqualification and hands a win over to Justin Walsh in 15.7 seconds.
I tell you what, I'm down here with Monique Ambrosi, hit the centre line down there, 5.70. So the only car that we've seen go down the track in this session, and unfortunately took out the centre line cones down there, and that's your day done, Mon.
Look, the fact that we ran a 570, we are so stoked with. We've worked so hard. Look, it's a real shame that we hit the centre line because we made it to the Winternationals after breaking the camshaft last meeting. But thank you so much for everyone for your help and for everyone coming out to the Winternational. It's been an amazing meeting. So good luck to the rest of the races for the rest of the day.
And the best thing is the car's still in one piece.
Exactly right. That's what we want. After everything that's happened to us, we just no more blow-ups, please.
We'll see you back in Sydney at the East Coast.
Thank you so much.
Rob, just great to have you here at Winternationals and see you back out on track.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I ran a 570. I'm happy. I'm happy for my crew and everyone. We've sorted out of that little electrical gremlin we got. Justin Walsh goes through. It doesn't matter. We hit the centre line. Well, it happens. I saw I was getting close there. I was trying to bring it back. The car felt good. It's still got a lot more in it. I just want to thank everyone for cheering us on and giving us good hopes to be here. I done my best. I couldn't do any better than that, and I tried not to hit something. I had a funny feeling I nearly did it, but you know what? I love all my family. I love all the people that watch us. See this bloke here? We love him too. Have a good time, everyone.
Yeah, I think that's it for me, guys.
Matt Kavanagh's got nothing at all. Have a look at this. Gary Phillips to take on Chris Hargrove, Justin Walsh to take on Brett White. None of those four drivers got down the track in round 1 under full power. That is not going to happen in the semi-finals. It is going to be red hot. Stay with us at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. We've got all the action of All-Star Batteries, Pro Alcohol, semi-final and finals after this short break. Here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals, it's semi-final time in All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol. The car's firing up. Conditions have cooled off a little bit in this late afternoon, Mark.
Yeah, I know in the first round of racing, we didn't see any. We only saw one car get down the track. There was a few contributing factors to that. The guys were in the staging lanes about an hour longer than expected, so some of the tune-ups weren't correct for what they expected on track round 1. So we should see a lot quicker times here in this semi-final matchup with Chris Hargrove to take on Gary Phillips as he goes through his burnout procedure. Interesting fact, this year is the 25th year that we've had junior dragsters racing here at the Winternationals at Willowbank Raceway. Chris Hargrove is an ex-junior dragster competitor here running in the professional ranks.
There is so many of the kids that I've seen grow up and move into these professional ranks. People like Kelly Betts and, of course, Ben Bray, to name just a couple. But what about this guy? He started his drag racing up in Townsville, I think at the old Savannah drag strip. I'm talking about Gary Phillips, of course, and he's got 20 Pro Alcohol Championships under his belt now. Chris Hargraves for CNW Electrical Wholesale He is going to have to run the race of his life right here in the semi-finals of All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol to keep up with this guy, Gary Phillips.
Well, Gary Phillips is actually on a bit of a streak at the moment. He's won 3 events in a row coming into this Winternationals final round of the championship. Chris Hargrove has one final appearance this season, a runner-up at the opening event of the championship. Can he get to his second final and take out the new Pro Alcohol champion, Gary Phillips?
Will Phillips overpower the racetrack? Can Hargrove make it to the 400-metre finish line under power? Who's going to the final of Pro Alcohol for All-Star Batteries? It's going to be Gary Phillips. Have a look at it, 5.66, 423 kilometres an hour. He did all he needed, that is for sure, and goes to yet another final.
On board with Chris Hargrove, Sunoco replay here. Both these guys had shake early on, but obviously Phillips recovered to run the quickest pass we've seen in racing so far. You can see Phillips there streaking away, but Hargrove didn't have the power to match the team of Gary Phillips.
Yeah, Hargrave's on and off the throttle. He wasn't going to give it away entirely because stranger things have happened, but no mistakes by Gary Phillips this time. And he is going to yet another final. Shane Phillips got the tune-up right this time.
Yeah, Shane Phillips, mate, that's 20 championships in this category. Congratulations, mate, and another final.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rusty. We've had a really good season. Just try and keep up the performance that we've had, and mile an hour's up there, so just got to sort that little bit of shake out, and we should be good for the final.
Some good luck, mate.
Well, in that final, they will be facing either Justin Walsh in the altered or Brett White in the funny car.
Well, if we cast our minds back to round 1 of racing, Justin Walsh in the altered, he was gone. The guy he raced, Robin Ambrosi, crosses the centre line, which gives the win back to Justin Walsh. So he's here, semi-finals, he's got to make amends from that first round of racing if he wants to get past Brett White.
Yeah, Justin Walsh only a 15-second pass in that first round of racing. Brett White, well, it was untidy, it was out of shape, it was near the wall, but it was a win line, and that's all that mattered for that team. Megan out front guiding Brett back across his own hot sticky tyre tracks from the burnout.
You see the crew guys there just taking off the throttle stop on the supercharger, so he'll get full throttle on the pass. They have the little throttle stop there just to limit the burnout so it doesn't over rev in the burnout.
These altereds, they're lighter again than the funny cars, that is for sure. They run the same big engines, etc., but without the aerodynamics, it really does hurt them in top speed, doesn't it?
It does with the altereds, and the thing is, because we haven't got that many altereds competing, they haven't got as much data as the funny cars and dragsters, so the likes of Justin Walsh and Greg Clayton now starting to run the 400 Thunder Championship a bit more throughout the year. They are getting quicker and quicker, and I expect to see these guys into the 550 zone if sooner not than later.
Walsh and White for a spot in the final of All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals.
Walsh actually runs converter in this car, so he's a little bit staging procedures a little bit different to Brett White.
Supercharger belt is gone for Brett White. Justin Walsh is going to sneak by and come up with another win, 8.7 seconds. This Pro Alcohol category is not running to script in any shape or form, Rusty.
Yeah, to quote the man himself, I'm down here with Mick Clark from Justin Walsh's crew. You guys have certainly been lucky today. Got through that one by the skin of your teeth.
Oh, we sure did, mate. We've been very lucky, and like Justin said, we'd rather be lucky than good. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm still in shock.
Final round against Gary Phillips, what's the plan?
Just go out there and do our best, mate.
Go out there and win.
Thank you.
Mate, down to you, Matt, at the top end of the racetrack with our other finalist, Gary Phillips.
We're here with Gary Phillips. The crew's just arrived. They're getting the car ready to go back. Mate, you came into this after round 1. You got yourself a championship. Now you can go through to the final, and you're going for your 50th golden Christmas tree.
Who's counting? we're just so happy. That was a tyre shake and shake me brains out, whatever. But it still ran 60, I guess. But it ran pretty good speed by the feel of it. But yeah, Justin in the final. Hey, you go much better than that.
Let's have a look at Sunoco replay here. Let's look at Justin Walsh and what happened in his lane. We know that Brett White lost the supercharger belt. He was way out in front. Shake from Walsh. So Walsh is shook. He's given up on the run. Then he sees that White is slowing down, and he gets back on the throttle to chase him down. Look at the emotions on the crew. Both crews are going, go, go. Who's going to get? You're going to see happiness in one lane and in Brett White's lane.
Walsh didn't get back on the throttle by much, though. He just squeezed it, eased it. I'm starting to wonder whether that thing's hurt.
Yeah, we're down here with Justin Walsh. He's just shutting a few things off on the car. Justin, you haven't had a good run all weekend, really, but you get one more chance, and it's against Gary Phillips.
Mate, I must have done something right last night because I've got all the luck on my side. Look, at the end of the day, he was out on me. I shook. I didn't leave real well, and then I was pretty much over it. I was done. I was ready to go back, open a can of rum and sit back and watch the finals. And then, unfortunately, I saw Brett down the track, and he wasn't going real fast, so I gave it a few little stabs and was lucky enough to roll past him for the win. Like I said before, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Oh, well, we'll see you in the final.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Well, luck when it holds will take you a lot of places, and it's taken Justin Walsh into the final of All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol against 20-time champion Gary Phillips. Here we go, finals time in All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. Sun has set. The stage is set. Gary Phillips to take on Justin Walsh in what has been one of the most unusual pro alcohol categories I've seen in decades. Hasn't gone to plan. Let's have a look at the road to the final for Gary Phillips.
Well, in round one of racing, he had Cameron and BC in the dragster. And he overstepped the mark here in the funny car. We thought MBC was going to get the win. He was way out in front, and just like we've seen so far today, Gary Phillips got around him for the win.
So, mark one down for Gary Phillips. Had a bit of luck, but he also had the speed to get there. Round two, didn't want to take too many risks against Hargrove, but he still got some tyre shake out there. Cost him a bit of a lapse time. And that, though, qualified him for yet another Pro Alcohol final.
The man he'll be facing in the final, Justin Walsh, here in round one of racing. When he says it's better to be lucky than good, watch what happens here against Robert Ambrosi.
Ambrosi, the only car of the 8 to actually go down the track under full power all the way, but he runs onto the centre line and punches some timing codes. That is a disqualification, hands the win over to Justin Walsh, who ran a 15-second pass.
And then we see it repeated here in round two. This time, though, Brett White well in front of Justin Walsh, but he loses the supercharger belt. Justin Walsh, seeing that, gets back onto the throttle, just navigates it to the finish line and gets past Brett White, and he sees himself in a final here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals in Pro Alcohol.
Well, can Walsh's luck continue in the Hearts Paint Supplies Altered? Or will Gary Phillips win yet another gold Christmas tree?
Well, straight up there, Rob, I just looked at Justin Walsh. That was a very, very short burnout for the car, for the Altered there. Usually they go a little bit further than that. Gary Phillips' burnout was fairly short as well from the guys. It is very different conditions than what we've seen throughout the weekend. When you're talking Winternationals, once the sun goes down, it gets awfully cold here at Willowbank Raceway. There's some other factors that start coming, get a little bit more moisture in the air. Sometimes you get the dew factor as well on track. So there's sort of things that these guys then take into account with their setups and tune-ups here in the final. Justin Walsh, though, moving forward in the Altered. Gary Phillips, you can see them wanting him to move forward.
I tell you what, it doesn't hurt to have former NHRA top alcohol champion Steve Harker on your side, and that was the man leaning over the supercharger for Gary Phillips then, as we see this pair ready to do battle. Now, I don't know. Gary Phillips just has to make sure he doesn't have to overpower things or get things wrong here, because can luck smile 3 times for Justin Walsh? We haven't seen this car go down the racetrack other than sort of in qualifying.
Yeah, it's a weird one, Walsh's car. It's, I wonder if you were right there in some phone you mentioned maybe they've got some issues with gremlins they're chasing. We're about to find out though. The final for Pro Alcohol here at the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals.
It's on again. This time though, Walsh is not going to have the luck. Gary Phillips is probably going to win his slowest final in history. 8.2 seconds, just 216. It didn't want to play the game off the start line, but really Justin Walsh wasn't going too far either.
I'm not sure. It's a really weird one. It looks like Phillips overpowered the track. Walsh, though, he looked like he had no power at all.
He just idled
off the line. And maybe they had some gremlins and they're just going, you know what? We're in stage. If something happens to Phillips, we might be able to sneak past him. But Gary Phillips had some issues, but nowhere near what Justin Walsh had in the altered.
Issues or not, Gary Phillips has won the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals.
Well, running over here to Gary Phillips, we've got a backlog of trophies to give away. Gary, you get yourself a gold Christmas tree just to go at number 50.
Oh, it is too. Yeah. Oh man, that was fantastic. The thing just blew the tyres off it. I was waiting for Justin to come around me on that, but anyhow, that's another. Yeah, it's Alpine Fresh, Lumen Lighting, Speed Flow. Everyone else that helps us so much. That's fantastic to win the championship and then come out and win the race too. It's, like thinking about the jewel and the whole deal, and it was mate, unbelievable. I'm friggin' worn out. I was just going, no, just don't cross the centre line, don't do anything stupid, and just.
Beautiful, mate. Look, at the end of the day, we've been nursing a wounded engine all day long, so unfortunately the first two guys I took out are probably going to be disappointed to know it, but hey, to finish first you must finish. We've had no oil pressure, we've been chasing the problem all day, so we've been doing little short burnouts, staging the car, and a little bit of lady luck came our way. We had Gary in the final. Mate, if it wasn't for Gary and Shane and Debbie, we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be running this deal. These guys are the best. There's not a supercharged car on this track that Gary and Shane haven't had something to do with, and if they haven't had something to do with it, they taught the bloke that has got something to do with it. They're the winners, they're the best. We're just goddamn lucky today, and thanks to all the boys in the heart shirts, Karen, my wife, killer effort from everyone.
Well played, Justin Walsh. They played that very close to their chest and came up with the goodies. Gary Phillips, that is title number 20. Stephen Reed, well, has to settle for number 2 spot this time. Justin Walsh into number 3. Rob Ambrosi ends the season in 4th, a great effort. And Chris Hargrave winds out the number 5 spot. What a series we've had. Well, we're going to be doing it all again, starting on 1st and 2nd of November at the Atlantic Oils East Coast Thunder, down at Sydney Dragway for the new 400 Thunder Professional Championship Series. Then we bounce up and down the coast until it all ends up here again, the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals at Willowbank Raceway, June 4 to 7, 2020. It has been a very unusual All-Star Batteries Pro Alcohol category, that is for sure. We've loved bringing you that action, but we've got more to come from the Gulf Western Oil Winternationals. Next time, we're going to have all of the drama and intrigue of Diamond T Custom Toolboxes Pro Stock.
Coming up after the break, we head to the streets of Monte Carlo and Monaco for round 9 of the FIA Formula E Championship, the Monaco E-Prix.